not afraid of tough guys, are you? I didn't think so.
I was one of 1,000 working stiffs until I wasn't no more.
You got a good friend here. You don't know how good a friend you got.
Russell.
Oh my god, the Irishman's here, guys! Fuck yeah, we get to talk about this movie today! But before I get into this review, there's going to be some spoilers. I'm going to spoil the shit out of this movie. So before you watch this review, if you already not watched The Irishman, okay, turn this review off, save it on your playlist, go get a snack first. Maybe, guys, I'm thinking like a foot-long sub, right? A meat lover's pizza. Girls, I'm thinking for you, maybe a garden salad, a Caesar salad, you know. Some wine, okay, maybe white, maybe red. A bottle of Chardonnay, maybe vodka, maybe some Grey Goose. Ladies, that's right! That's right! I know things! Ladies! That's right! I drop knowledge on you, yo! Guys, I'm thinking for you, maybe a beer, an ale, or a lager, you know. Something, or, a nice light beer. Because that's what I like. I like a nice light beer. Hop over to your couch. Maybe girls bring a pillow with you, a blanket, snuggle up. Guys, just, hang out on your couch. Pop open your Netflix and begin watching The Irishman. Then after you watch The Irishman, you might want to take a nap. Because, oh my god, this movie's long. And yes, we will be discussing the length in this review. Then after you take your nap, go over to YouTube, your playlist, and continue where you last left off. So that was your warning, everyone, because I am going to spoil the movie now. Alright, so let's jump in my highs. So I am going to blend two of my highs into one because you've heard this so many times when Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Johns, some other YouTubers, when they go in to review this movie, they talk about the acting and dialogue, okay? I don't want to spend too much time because on this because I want to go on highs that are important to me. Some highs that you may find different, and you're like, that's different. Never that's a cool thing that I'm gonna have to go back to the movie and see over again and watch over again for that moment to see what the caveman's talking about. So I'm going to blend, like I said, two highs into one. So the acting and dialogue, you've seen people talk about this before when they review The Irishman. Here's a shocker: the acting and dialogue is good. Okay, it's really, really, really good. Okay, I know, what a shocker, right? What a shocker. De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, they put on a acting clinic, okay? They really do a phenomenal job in the movie, and it's a joy to watch, but it's sad at the same time, right? Because we might not see these three actors acting in a movie again, okay? Especially, Joe Pesci, because, they had to ask Joe Pesci to be in this movie 50 times, okay? And I get it. I know why he's so selective in movies. That's one of the reasons why I love Joe Pesci. He is so selective, and like I said, that's one of the reasons why I love him so much. Is because he is so selective. He chooses his movies really, really good. But apparently he didn't want to... He really didn't want to be in the movie. But I'm so glad that he relented and he's like, fine, you know, the 50th time is good enough. And I'm so glad he chose to be in this movie because he is such a badass in the movie when dealing with De Niro's character. And he's like, yeah, people do things for me, and I ask favors, and they ask favors of me. And he's just such a badass in the movie, dude. I love the shit out of the character Joe Pesci, the character that he plays in the movie, and the actor in general. It's, like I said, one of my favorite actors, but it's a joy to see, and it's sad because we might not see these actors acting, all three of them, in a movie again. So it's really like a end of an era. It kind of feels like that. The dialogue is so good. It's so good, guys. It reminds me of a I'm gonna give out a food analogy here. It feels and tastes like a New York slice. You know, that perfect New York slice that's cooked just right. Oh my god, if this was food, if the acting dialogue was food, it would be a perfect New York slice. It's so good. It's so good. And the dialogue is, like I said, it's if it would be a food, it would be a New York slice cooked to perfection. Or an Italian soup, right? That Italian wedding soup that, I know I love Italian wedding soup, but the best Italian wedding soup I can taste. I don't know why I'm throwing out food analogies here. It feels to the caveman appropriate now. So the acting dialogue is really, 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 really good. Now let's move on to some highs that stood out for me. So one of my main highs is the cinematography. I love the cinematography in this movie. Cinematography is so gorgeous to watch. So gorgeous to look at. If you have a big screen TV, you're going to be smiling from ear to ear. I was a little bit irritated last year when this movie, it's like, oh my god, we have to wait for this movie. Give it to me now! Give this movie to me now, damn it! Martin Scorsese, give this movie to me now! Cause I want it! Damn it, now! And I'm so happy that it was worth the wait. Let me just put it like that. It was worth the wait. If you have a big screen TV, like I said, the cinematography is really gorgeous. The set design to this movie, set in the 1950s, oh my god, is so good. It's so good that Jimmy Hoffa, old school mob, Kennedy era. It just puts you in the 1950s. This movie puts you in the 1950s. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. The little details that they paint, you could tell all the little details are there. Martin Scorsese, when he decides to do a period movie or a period piece, or he wants to do a movie set in, say, the 1940s and 1950s, this is why he's one of the better actors in Hollywood, because when he decides to do a movie, he decides to put a movie in the 1950s, 1960s, he painstakingly says, okay, we need this, we need this, we need this. That can't be in the movie because that wasn't around. We need this. This movie needs to feel old school. This movie needs to feel old school to the period. And it does. This movie does. This movie just puts you in the 1950s. Alright? And also, the sound design, the audio cues that we get. There are audio cues in this movie that just adds to the authenticness of what Martin Scorsese is trying to do. The old school camera flash, the old school newspapers, the doo-wop soundtrack. It is all amazing, and it all puts you in that Jimmy Hoffa mob Kennedy era. And it's just awesome. It's really, really awesome, guys. And it was oh man, I love Martin Scorsese. This is why. If you want evidence why he's one of the better actors working in Hollywood, go watch The Irishman. Okay? Because it's all the little things that he decides to do in this movie that just makes this like a treat to watch. Alright, but that is all my highs. Oh, we have one high. That's right, we have one more high. The Jimmy Hoffa story. I love it. I love the Jimmy Hoffa mob connection story and the Kennedy. I love how they go through all that, and I love how they don't try to make some bullshit ending up with like, okay, this is where Jimmy Hoffa was buried for real. No, they do it in a way that it makes you wonder what really happened to Jimmy Hoffa, but in this movie, they don't try to... Martin Scorsese doesn't give anything away, and we still don't know what happened to Jimmy Hoffa to this day. But he doesn't try to make some bullshit ending up. It's like, okay, we're gonna make up an ending where we're gonna put Jimmy Hoffa. No, he doesn't do that. It happens. Jimmy Hoffa gets whacked at the end, and there's only one person that knows who it is, what really happened to the Jimmy Hoffa, and that's the Robert De Niro character. And it's just in a way that it's so awesome. It's so awesome how the story gets portrayed. It's so awesome, the story. I love the Jimmy Hoffa story. Always been fascinated with that, and to see a director tackle it like a Martin Scorsese, it's just a treat to watch this movie. It really is. Alright, so now all my highs are out of the way. Let's go to my lows. Okay, let's go to my lows. This movie is too long. This movie's too long. I said on the top, maybe after this, take a nap. You're gonna need one. Yes, you are going to need one. This movie is way too long. This movie is 3.5 hours long. This movie shouldn't be 3.5 hours long. There's scenes in this movie, as much as I love the story, right? The acting, the dialogue, the cinematography, the set design, the audio soundtrack. As much as I love all that, this movie's too long, and I can't hide that. This movie is really, really long. You could cut multiple scenes out of this movie, and you probably could save yourself 10 to 15 minutes, okay? For instance, there's a moment in the movie, the final 10 to 15 minutes. Let's say the final 10, no, let's go final 10 to 15 minutes, all right? At the end, okay? So they all go to jail. They all go to jail at the end, okay? And all of them are sick, you know, they have problems, and they all die, okay? They all die. And Joe Pesci dies. All the mobsters die in jail, okay? Except for Robert De Niro's character, okay? So he gets out of jail, okay? Okay? And they want to portray him, you know, what this lifestyle does to a man, okay? It puts him really alone, okay? And that's great, okay? That's great, okay? However, there's another element to this my lows. I haven't talked about that, and we're going to talk about it now. The Robert De Niro character monologues throughout the movie. He gives an audible narration throughout the movie. When I say throughout the movie, I mean throughout the movie. It does not stop. Okay? It does not stop. When something big is about to happen, the De Niro character will let you know something is about to happen. Okay? And it really does spoil things throughout the movie because of that narration, right? So, like, there's one point the De Niro character has to get rid of a gun or something like that. And he's saying, okay, well, I have to get rid of this gun, and this is how I'm going to do it. And you're like, oh, all right. Then, when, say, a car bomb goes off or a bomb blows up, you know literally 5 seconds before it happens because the De Niro character will let you know that is going to happen. Okay? When shootings occurred, he lets you know before it happens. Okay? So when the ending comes up, you have De Niro there telling you what he's doing. He is telling you, yes, I had to go here. At one point, he's in a funeral parlor, right? Getting a casket for himself, okay? I don't need to see that. Like, I don't need to see or hear the De Niro character saying, well, basically, I'm alone because of this. Yes, we know. I'm giving you an example how one movie did it right, okay? Godfather Part 3. Michael Corleone, okay? He did not want to get into the mob family because he knew he was going to be alone at the end. And at Godfather Part 3, he was alone at the end. But was there a narration? Was there a monologue? No. It was just him looking out into nothing, basically, okay? And that last scene in the movie says it all. Without monologue, without dialogue, without narration, it says it all. But in this movie, the last 10-15 movie, no! The De Niro character has to tell you, yeah, basically I ended up alone. We don't need to see that, man. We don't need to hear and see that. We just need one or the other. Okay? The main point of narration, okay, the main point of this narration should have been talking about stuff off screen, okay? Because you're saying that, yeah, I'm alone, but we don't need to do both. We don't need to see and hear the character doing both, okay? We just need one. We just need one or the other, okay? We don't need 15 minutes of the De Niro character saying, yeah, basically being alone, and Martin Scorsese showing us him walking through all of his, going to a funeral parlor, going to old age home, going to a church saying, yeah, I have some stuff. We don't need to see all that. We don't need to see all that because the character is telling us this. Alright? I just thought it was redundant. I really, really did. Alright? Now, I think some scenes could have been a little bit more shortened. For instance, the funeral parlor. When he goes out, when the family of Jimmy Hoffa is there, he's like, look, just tell us where he is. That scene could have been in the old age retirement home. The last conversation he had could be, the family walking in and like, look, we just want to know what happened. Okay? Instead of dragging the scenes out for 15 minutes. Okay? Make it a more impactful scene. The last point of dialogue, conversation that De Niro character should have is with the family of Jimmy Hoffa, right? So Jimmy Hoffa's family comes in to see him in the old age retirement home, saying, look, you have lung cancer, which he does. He diagnosed with lung cancer. The last conversation you should have is with the family of Jimmy Hoffa, them desperately trying to get where their dad is buried so they can go and get him. that should have been the last scene. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't, just kind of going on and on and on. So, those are my lows. And I have one low. There's a scene in the movie where it hits too close to home for The Godfather. So De Niro and the Pesci character, Joe Pesci's character, sits down at a restaurant and they talk. Okay, they start talking in Italian, and you hear music in the background, and it's the Godfather soundtrack. It sounds a lot like the Godfather soundtrack. It has 2 chords, and they do the actual, a little bit of the music in the scene, and you're like, that's a little bit on the nose. So I just wanted to mention that. That's a little nitpick, but I still love the scene regardless. All right. So those are my lows. Okay, it's too long, and we didn't need this movie being this long, right? We didn't need 3.5 hours of this movie. This movie could have been cut 10 to 15 minutes, and it would have been good. It would have been good. And my other low is De Niro narrates a little bit too much of the movie, right? And yeah, and it a little bit too on the nose with the Godfather stuff. It just not referenced, but you can see it's like, all right. When they sit in the restaurant, they start talking Italian. Joe Pesci and the De Niro character, and you hear the Italian Godfather music in the back. You're like, okay, all right. But those are my lows. Those are my lows. But overall, a fantastic movie. Do I recommend this? Yes. Let's see if The Irishman makes the grade, and it absolutely does. I'm going to give The Irishman a B+. I think if you were to give it an A, I wouldn't argue with you, okay? But I just, in good conscience, can't give this an AA+. For me. But a solid B+. It's still a great movie, and I still really enjoy the movie. I'm still going to go back to the movie. So, I want to know what you guys thought of The Irishman down below in the comment section. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And guys, I will see you all later. Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen, right here on my CTV.
Did we miss the flight? No, you just made it.
They forgot one small thing.
Have yourself
I've a terrible feeling. Did you lock up?
let yourself be light.
Do we set the timers on the lights?
Mm-hmm.